welcome to part 4 of the list.
That does not miss.
Episode 116 of Top Rope on this big Clash of Champions weekend. Let's start off with the Top Rope
Speaking
reality.
of Clash of Champions.
Story time, yes.
The story time involves the man who created so many names of so many shows, who probably created Clash of Champions.
I wouldn't be surprised. But it's the last chapter. The father and sons who won the same wrestling belt. Hello, Vince.
Right, their belts.
Chapter 11, Dusty Rhodes and Dustin Runnels, the United States Championship.
The story ends with it's weird to have 11 chapters in a book, though. The story ends with none other than the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, if you will. Son of a plumber was as popular babyface could come back in the day, winning a whole host of championships across the United States. Included in these titles is one single run with the U.S. Championship,
Like
which Dream,
I would have guessed more than one.
right,
in the US
which Dream captured by defeating Lex Luger inside a steel cage in 1987. Interestingly enough, Dusty never won gold in the WWF. Most WWE fans may know his son Dustin, better known as Gold Dust, but before donning the gold and the black paint and making his fellow competitors uncomfortable all too frequently, Dustin was a two-time U.S. champion himself. His 2 runs actually came one after the other, the first coming after defeating Ricky Steamboat in a normal contenders match, only for Rick Rude to vacate the title. So the title would be vacated soon after when Dustin and Rude fought to a double pin. Dustin would subsequently defeat Rude in a rematch a couple of months later. Cody Rhodes is yet to win the U.S. Championship, but it isn't outside the realm of possibility that he will eventually add his name to this list.
Down the line.
With more and more second-generation wrestlers coming through, this list will only grow and grow and grow. Will Bray Wyatt or Bo Dallas capture tag team gold like their father, Mike Rotunda?
IRS.
Yes, I actually read where somebody, or heard an interview where somebody said that somebody looked at Bray Wyatt on Radio Row for WrestleMania, and actually looked at him and said, "Does your dad do your taxes?" He said, this guy that did the interview said, "You have never heard of someone becoming so uncomfortable." He said, "I watched as Bray Wyatt made them so uncomfortable for asking such a stupid question."
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, so this list here, the story time was made before Cody quit the company, but it is not out of the realm of possibility that Cody comes back to the WWE.
Yeah.
When he comes back, is he going to be focused on the U.S. title? More than likely not.
Nobody can happen. I'm still surprised Dusty never won the Intercontinental title. At least once.
He never won any gold in the WWF.
But up next is the W Stars that failed as the guy.
This guy.
Shawn Michaels was not the guy.
You would think, like he's the guy, right?
Yeah.
But it says Shawn Michaels' in-ring work is second to absolutely nobody. But he completely failed as the guy in 1996. Michaels defeated Bret Hart to win the WWE Championship in an Iron Man match at WrestleMania 12.
Well, I mean, that's also probably the one time only
One time only what?
of an Iron Man match.
On a pay-per-view. WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's true. What in the world? So anyway, let's see. As the crowning moment to become the next big draw for the company. It didn't work out, and WCW started to pass WWE in the Monday Night Wars during Michaels' title reign. Michaels having a poor attitude and quitting when things didn't go his way further damaged his chances at thriving in the role. Professionalism and respect are important in being the face of the franchise for a company as big as the WWE. You can argue that Michaels had a better chance during his 2002 return as a more mature man and performer. His second stint in the WWE provided better moments for Michaels, but he never took back his place as the top star in the company after flopping in the 90s.
Flopping.
Flopping it. But next week...
Or next time. Depends on how things go. Sheamus. We'll be Sheamus next time. We'll be Sheamus. Look out! Flying keys.
Flying Keys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Up next.
It's not creepy at all.
The biggest match WWE should have booked in the 90s but did not. Bret Hart versus Lex Luger in 1994.
1994.
That's 1994. Yes.
1994. This should have been the main event.
It should have been.
Of WrestleMania.
It should have been. It should have been. They both went out.
They both went out. Well, but then they didn't do triple threats.
No, that should have been a triple threat.
It should have been a triple threat. Yeah, doesn't it? They should have had to have 2 different matches. Bret should have had to fought twice.
Right.
It's stupid.
It is stupid.
I mean, he probably still could have fought twice, but in the triple threat and in the match with Owen Hart.
Right.
But Luger then had to, Yoko had to be the other one that fought twice. That's stupid. Back in the 90s, Vince McMahon was still hesitant to put on a babyface versus babyface match, especially in the main event, at WrestleMania. Despite the big match feel and general awesomeness that a face versus face main event usually turns out to be, the company often avoided them through 1994.
That's 1994. Yes.
1994. This is why WrestleMania 10 featured a unique miniature tournament for the WWF Championship between Luger, Yoko, and Bret Hart.
I know you're saying, well, we just screwed up what we said earlier about having the tournament only once.
But it wasn't really a tournment. I don't consider that a tournament.
I don't either.
It wasn't billed as a tournament. These two babyfaces have been most heavily pushed fan favorites since Hogan left following the King of the Ring in '93. Lex got the rocket by way of the Lex Express in main eventing SummerSlam and Survivor Series, but by the time the Royal Rumble came around, it had become clear to Vince that fans weren't buying Lex as much as they were Bret. It's not all about the missiles.
But you're also going to be used different too.
Right. The two men seemed to be on a collision course, especially after co-winning the '94 Royal Rumble match, and many fans expected WrestleMania 10 to feature Luger versus Bret main event. When Lex was disqualified in his WrestleMania title match against Yoko, fans were perplexed. So, one positive thing that came out of the Bret vs. Yoko WrestleMania main event match, was that Hitman was able to avenge the loss he suffered to Yoko at the previous year's WrestleMania. Even if Vince was willing to book Lex versus Bret at after WrestleMania 10, say at the '94 Royal Rumble, or King of the Ring, I don't even know why I said Royal Rumble.
Because they were already at the Royal Rumble.
Right, at the '94 King of the Ring, it would have given Bret a more credible claim as the leader of the new generation. As it is, Bret missed Lex just a year after missing Hogan, and still ended up having an incredible Hall of Fame career. Speaks volumes about the legacy and abilities of Bret the Hitman Hart, the best there is. Best there was. Best there ever will be. No doubt.
Who likes to get on young wrestlers now? Who's a grumpy old man.
But see, that's the thing. It should have been, and the fact that Owen, if you want to talk about a mini tournament, the fact that Owen beat Bret, Owen should have been inserted in the situation. But it should have been a triple threat from the get-go, triple threat main event. Mm-hmm. Should have had Bret open the show. I'm fine with Bret even winning. That was fine. But Bret opened the show, losing to Owen. Bret win the main event, beating Yoko and Lex. It makes it look like he was an underdog because he already lost in a grueling long match. And then he had to beat 2 other larger men to win the belt. And then that right there, the fact that that Owen beat him should have made him #1 contender.
But why did Bret have to wrestle and Lex and Yoko did not?
What do you mean? Because him and Owen had another different thing going. The two of them didn't need to. No, doesn't have to be fair.
If it's triple threat, you don't have Owen and Bret at WrestleMania. You just build it from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania.
Well, so was it fair that Daniel Bryan had to wrestle twice? Oh! It's the same thing. It was a triple threat main event, and he fought Triple H. It's the same thing.
Well, you don't have to worry about it. I mean, if Owen would have thrown him out, it would have been different. If you build it the way if Luger would have won the Royal Rumble because Owen snuck back in and threw Bret out, then you have a fight. Then you have a match.
I agree with that
and
too.
And then you have the triple threat adds to the if he wins.
I agree with that too.
That would make more sense. But just having Bret wrestle Owen because they were having a little thing, and
it was more than a little thing.
Lex and Yoko get nothing.
They still get something in a triple threat.
Yeah, but they are fresh.
But that's the thing. It's called underdog.
Underdog, yeah, for the underworld.
Underdog.
Well, speaking of underdog, we're supposed to watch underdog, and we probably missed Nia Jax already. As your thing says, if she won, did she lose? But up next time on Top of Red, we're going to talk about
anything yet.
Really? Well, they're behind. Well, pay-per-view review, No Mercy. We're going to do them still. Some more. We got 4 of those. The two stars that failed us, the guy.
Sheamus, redhead
Sheamus, who probably will win the best of 7 tonight.
Should not.
The Big Smash Duty should have booked, but does not. And the number's 5 this week, next time. Story time, new storybook. We gotta go to the library, our Top Rope Reality library, and pick out another storybook. Plus, we're gonna do the draft. It's coming back.
The draft, sort of,
yes. You'll find out next week in part 3. And plus, so much.
And there was
more.
another new thing too, right? Part 3.
The meanie thing.
The what?
The meaning. Being real mean backstage. Yes, the backstage meanness. Yes.
Yes, Eric Bischoff and Ric Flair.
Woo! Woo! Well, I want to thank you for watching episode 116. I'm Mike Hogan.
And I'm just a guy.
We're supposed to go watch Clash of the Champions.
That's true.
See if Kevin Owens can keep his title.
He will.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Or next time.
Or next.
Same YouTube channel. Same YouTube place. Right.
Yes, something like that.